folks, because old Hacksaw is a little excited. I've been out here before, and I've been trying to tell you this, but I get a little mad, I get a little excited, and some director over here says, cut! Hacksaw, you can't say that on TV. So I'm going to try to keep my composure this time and tell you exactly what happened in Houston, Texas, when old Hacksaw Jim Duggan had his head run into a steel bolt, and old Hacksaw's head got split like a ripe melon. I went to the hospital, and the doctor said, a normal man be dead. Well, Hacksaw ain't no normal man. I was back there in the dressing room in Houston, Texas, throwing stuff around, stomping, snorting. I was mad. And I was on my way out to the ring to take care of that one-man gang, and my good friend Steve Williams grabbed me. He said, Hacksaw, this is the UWF title. This is the big shot. Get yourself back together. Gain your composure. And I did, and I went out to the ring, and I gave Terry Gordy my best shot. But that's a whole nother story. Because when I went back, the only thing that was churning inside my head was one-man gang. Big guy, you're going down!
I'm sorry that you're going to have to bear with me. I'm still having a hard time talking, and of course you can understand why. You know, a lot's been going down. The hot summer of '86 is here. It seems like it makes athletes a little meaner than usual. And of course there's the family. The fabulous Freebirds, they call themselves, with Michael Charles Manson Hayes as their leader. A family that terrorizes, that breaks every rule, that has no respect, that will kick in your door, that runs roughshod over everybody. And it started a long time back when they blinded the junkyard dog and he was off for 9 weeks. And then I stepped in and helped him, and we ran them out and kicked their tail, and they went all over the world, and they became big-time rock stars. They became notorious, and they had to come back here. And I should have known they'd have to get back at me. And let me tell you, when you got a family like that against you, Chavo, you got to have friends, because one guy can't do it because there's 3 of them, they're all awesome. One guy can't do it. But Stud, if there's ever a guy that's had bloody brawls in Houston and made everybody respect him, it's you. And you came forward, and you've always been my friend, and you've always helped me. I want you to know, though, we're going into a take-no-prisoner situation. We're going into probably the most drastic situation we've ever been in, and you step forward, brother, and you sign this thing. You know what it means.
Well, Bill, they're the family, but you're a wrestling family. I come from a wrestling family. You don't mess around with wrestling families. You don't get in the ring with a legend and do what you did and insult him in front of all the people. In Mexico, we had a legend. The man is gone now. El Santo. He was a legend. This man is a legend. You're going to find out what the legend does, Freebirds. Respetable público. Lo que ustedes ven en la televisión pasó. Los Freebirds, los 3 le brincaron al Bill Watts. Bill Watts ya es una leyenda. Vamos a compararlo como el Santo. Una leyenda por todo el mundo, por todos Estados Unidos. Entonces ellos se han atrevido a meterse al ring, a lastimarlo de la garganta. Pues eso va a tener que pasar aquí en Houston. Y él me ha pedido a mí que sea con su compañero, y yo con lo que tengo de mexicano, vamos a ver de cuál cuero sale más correa. Viva México, y nos vemos en Houston. And Bill, I'm gonna be there 120%.
Michael Hayes and the fabulous Freebirds, Chapter 2, will be walking tall, and it's gonna have the same ending for you.
You've heard what they had to say.
Certainly no strangers to Houston, baby. I'm going to bring absolutely the most beautiful woman in the world to Houston, Texas, along with myself and Jack Victory, to take on none other than Coco Ware and the Missing Link. The Missing Link, you are certainly no stranger to this shoe, just like we're no stranger to Texas.
Tell him, Johnny.
You handle Coco Ware. I'll handle you, Missing Link. And baby, if Dark Journey sticks her nose in any of our business, you just give her the same thing you gave her last time.
All it took was one phone call, Jack. And did I handle her?
You sure
know,
did.
Missy always gets what Missy wants. And if she steps in our way, she tries to mess with you, Jack, I'll take care of her like I took care of her before. So, Coco and the Missing Link, history.
I'll take care of you, Link. I'll take care of you.
Currently in the ring, assisted by the one-man gang and General Skandar Akbar of Devastation Incorporated, weighing in at 409 pounds, Kamala, the Ugandan warrior. And Duggan is into the one-man gang. As Duggan and one-man gang, they don't need any excuse to go after each other. And Duggan and DiBiase are quite a team right now.
There's got to be well over 1,000 pounds right above us here. I hope the ring doesn't break. There's some beef there.
Well, both Duggan and DiBiase send one-man gang through the ropes as they're setting up Kamala into that turnbuckle, and a driving shoulder block by both men as Devastation Incorporated didn't expect Ted DiBiase to come back with Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Well, DiBiase played football at West Texas State, and DiBiase's stomping, and the crowd is rabid here. They know what's on the line anytime the one-man gang and Hacksaw Duggan are even in the same facility, much less in the same ring. But General Akbar really thought that DiBiase betrayed him when he turned down the $50,000 during the big tournament here in Houston. DiBiase with that loaded, well, I guess it's loaded. Kamala, and I'm sure if he could talk, would say it's loaded. But they're back at it now, all four back in the ring again. This is going to be DiBiase and Kamala, but heck, it's nothing but a big tag team battle, and that's what we've got right here.
And Duggan handling one-man gang with that wild right. And in the left-hand corner, you can see Kamala and Ted DiBiase. As fans are getting a lot more than they bargained for. This was Kamala up against DiBiase, and DiBiase with those chops of his as he tried to chop Kamala down the sides. General Skandar Akbar fuming right now as Ted DiBiase, you saw him go out of your picture, he's trying to get Akbar. He's got him in the ring, Jim. This is what he wanted.
General Akbar is getting what he deserves right here. But there's the one-man gang. Kamala's tied up in the ropes. This thing is pandemonium. It's crazy here in the Coliseum. And now Akbar. I don't know if the darn match has even started, but it's been a fight since they got here.
Kamala missed with that chop, and he sent General Akbar down to the mat.
And DiBiase now working over Kamala as he gets up on that rope and comes crashing down, and the giant topples down to the mat as DiBiase looking for that opportunity to get General Akbar again. He knows that Akbar has set his sights on Ted DiBiase. Now it's Duggan, and the fans in the Coliseum give Duggan full permission to slug General Scandal Akbar. And if you think this action is wild and exciting, you just wait till Friday here in the Sam Houston Coliseum, because Hacksaw Jim Duggan will battle one-man gang as Devastation Incorporated. They haven't heard the last of DiBiase and Duggan. Look at DiBiase now. He's got Kamala down, and once he's got him down, he knows what to do with him.
He sure does. The gang's getting Kamala out of there. I tell you what, Duggan and DiBiase is loading the glove. He's got the glove loaded. Kamala, I have never seen Kamala in the one-man gang. Boy, they have been hammered. Duggan and the gang, one-on-one on the 11th. They're going to settle it right here in the Coliseum.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan, he is ready for this opportunity.
The
He's
winner
been waiting
of
for
the
it,
match
and he's
on
ready
a
physically and mentally for it.
the Big Cheese, Ted DiBiase.
As Cleet Dumpster announces the winner, the Big Cheese, Ted DiBiase. A big victory for DiBiase, but we haven't heard the last of Devastation Incorporated, that's for sure.
No doubt about it. You hear this great crowd, USA in the background. Akbar will have a plan on the 11th. You can bet on it. General Skandar Akbar will definitely have something up his sleeve on the 11th of July. No doubt about that. But I want to see Chavo Guerrero standing with a cowboy, Michael Hayes, Terry Gordy. You've got something coming, and you're gonna get it on July the 11th. The Cowboy and Chavo will be ready. I can't wait to be here at ringside, and I hope all our great friends here in Houston will be here with us.
Fans in the Coliseum are erupted. They've been treated to a great night of wrestling action, which is part of the record-setting pace of Houston wrestling this summer. Next Friday right here in the Coliseum, it continues, Jim, and we're inviting them to come down here in person and enjoy every single moment of it.
We certainly appreciate everybody being with us. Don't forget to join us in Navasota, Texas on Saturday night, July the 12th. A big benefit for muscular dystrophy at the Grimes County Fairgrounds Rodeo Arena. Tickets are on sale at the Walmart down in Navasota. We certainly appreciate all that. That's a great organization, and the proceeds will go for a tremendous cause. We hope you'll join us there for our first event in Navasota, Saturday night, July the 12th at 8 o'clock.
The bell sounds, this match is underway. One fall with a 20-minute time limit. My name is Peter Burkholz, and helping with the commentating on this particular match is Universal Wrestling Federation's Jim Ross. And Jim, this should be a great match with two powerful athletes.
Oh, it certainly is, Pete. It's great to be back with you. Thank you very much for having me out. And I'll tell you, this is another example of why that we feel the Universal Wrestling Federation offers the most exciting, the most competitive professional wrestling in the world today. You got two young lions here in a great physical condition, which is quite obvious. And that's the caliber of athletes that are flocking to the UWF. And we're very proud to have the caliber of athletes that we have here. Sting, even though, we don't always agree with their tactics, but be that as it may, you can't take away from the time that they spend in the gym, the road, working out, running, lifting weights. And of course, Jeff Gaylord's got a phenomenal athletic background, and we'll be talking about during this match. And for youngsters out there that follow the game of football, I'll be telling you some things about Jeff Gaylord as this match progresses that I think will really impress you. And you're going to see that both these guys are really strong. They're powerful. And I think what we're seeing here, Pete, if the fans got good memories, and someday they'll look back and say, I remember when those guys wrestled. You're going to be talking about two superstars in wrestling, because they're both young, in their early 20s. They have their whole career ahead of them, and I think we're going to see some great things from both these young athletes. And again, this is a very important match in their careers. Ken Mantell will be watching this match very closely. Matchmaker Grizzly Smith, Paul Bosch, and they're going to watch these young lions. How do they produce? How do they compete under these circumstances? So it's an important match. It's not a main event in that respect, but it's in these men's mind, it is a main event.
Very good point. But I'd like to also point out right now, Jim, that outside in the ring is Eddie Hot Stuff Gilbert, who's in the corner of the Blade Runner Sting.
So the Sting there, he's not only got the powerful build, the well-conditioned body, but he's got Eddie Hot Stuff Gilbert.
There he is.
We may not agree with him, but there's one thing. He knows about wrestling.
And one other thing, he does, I'll agree with you, but there's his father really lambasting Sting. Now, you know, sometimes fans will say, why is...
If we could have stayed on Tommy Gilbert, we just saw that he put Eddie Hot Stuff Gilbert right back in his place.
I was going to say, people say, why is Tommy Gilbert refereeing this match? You know, but sometimes when the matches are assigned, it's almost like, for lack of a better term, the luck of the draw. Sometimes I know I've officiated ball games my hometown played in. It really doesn't make any difference. You know where your emotions are, but there's a rule book, you've got a job to do, and that's the way that it is, and that's exactly what Tommy Gilbert is. But I think Tommy's, I don't say he's turned his back on his son, but Eddie's not been making his father real proud of him lately with his actions.
A test of strength, and this is an interesting matchup, because we talked about how strong both individuals are. And beautiful way he was working over Sting, but Sting found the equalizer because he was able to reverse the leverage of that hold. And as Jeff Gaylord was able to turn the tide, once again we saw Tommy Gilbert not letting Eddie get away with anything.
A very unique situation, and I'm going to make a comment here, Pete, and it's an editorial comment, in my own opinion, but we might see in this match that Tommy Gilbert's going to be a little bit more stringent on the rules regarding Sting's you know, the Sting's actions in the ring. Now, what's this?
Eddie Hot Stuff Gilbert telling his dad over the PA system that he thinks he's being a little bit unfair, and you know officials don't like criticism, I guess especially when it comes from your son.
No, that's a little close to home. That's a little close to home. But I was going to say, you know, Tommy is such a fair guy, and he's such a conscientious official that sometimes you almost go, I don't want to say overboard, but you want to take every precaution to make sure nobody says that you're biased. And Tommy is not a biased official. So that's an interesting situation. I was going to talk about Jeff Gaylord. He was a high school All-American, a defensive tackle at Shawnee Mission High School, right outside Kansas City. And look there, now Gaylord pulled the hair. But I don't know, I don't think Tommy was over there having a heart-to-heart talk with his son and did not see it.
I think Jeff Gaylord just demonstrated he's a quick learner. And
That's right.
He's not afraid of turning the tide and using a page out of his opponent's book.
Well, Jeff Gaylord, after winning high school All-American honors at Shawnee Mission High School, was the #1 priority for the University of Missouri football program and Coach Warren Powers at that time. And Coach Powers signed Jeff Gaylord to a letter of intent. And Gaylord was a UPI and an AP unanimous All-American in 1981 for the Missouri Tigers in the Big 8. And then he was drafted by the USFL New Orleans Breakers at that time. And as a rookie was all USFL as a nose tackle. So this young man has got great credentials. I mean, but he's a rookie in pro wrestling. So it's like I was saying earlier, I really believe that at one day we're going to look back and say, you know, I remember that young man starting out in Houston, Texas at the Coliseum, and look at him now. And I also think in the same breath we'll be talking about Sting, because Sting has improved immensely since he got away from his partner Rock, and he had Eddie Gilbert's undivided attention. He has really improved. Pete, I want to mention that on August the 8th, that when all the great Houston fans are coming out, they may be sitting by someone from another state very easily, because the wrestling fans of America are going to be here, and for their annual convention, they have selected Houston, Texas over every city in the United States, and a lot of big cities wanted all the fans to come. Several hundred of them will be here. I think they're going to be headquartered at the DoubleTree Hotel, I understand, and they'll be here, and it's going to be a great opportunity for the fans here in Houston and the great Texas fans to be meeting and discussing wrestling and talking about their favorites and being here at the matches with fans from all over the country. And that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to being in town. I think I'm going to try to come in about the 7th on that day and visit with all those folks, because the fans are the backbone of professional wrestling. I think that's one thing that separates our group from some of the others, is that we never forget that. We better not. The fans are our most important commodity.
Wrestling Fans International Association Convention, the biggest event for wrestling fans in the entire year of 1986. They did choose Houston, and we are proud of that fact. And one of the reasons, Jim, is that traditional touring battle royal, because fans from all over the world have heard so much about this event, and they were excited about it that they chose that particular weekend to be here, and there's a reason for it. They know that the wrestling action is going to be superb that night. Plus, with that two-ring battle royal, many of them, like yourself, who have never seen it in person, and they want to be able to say that they've seen a two-ring battle royal in person.
Well, you know, when they were talking with us, Pete, I remember the negotiations. They were talking about going to Los Angeles, Las Vegas, all the casinos in Las Vegas, New York City, and Times Square, Madison Square Garden, New Orleans, and the Superdome. But when we said that magic word, or words, two-ring battle royal, that did it. And they're here. They're going to be here on August the 8th. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to seeing all the great fans. And Eddie, you know, Eddie is almost like a time bomb there. You can see him walking around, his hands on his hips. He's just like a time bomb, just ticking away.
Sting missing with that arm, and that swings with the elbow now, as that time he didn't miss. Jeff Gaylord came running at him, and he was expecting possibly another swing of that elbow when he caught him with that vicious, quick left knee of his, and now crotch hold and a hard slam.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gaylord looks like a piece of steel, as does Sting. Oh, what an elbow. Man, he was up there. This guy's got some tremendous spring in his legs. But Gaylord powers out. Sting, I'll tell you what, I don't know if anybody's going to pin Jeff Gaylord with just a lateral press. He's too strong. He bench presses like, he's well over 500 pounds. And I know that a lot of the gyms around the country, the guys I've talked with, boy, you talk about their eyes getting about the size of silver dollars. When Gaylord gets on that bench, he can move some iron.
Sure can, and when you have that lateral body press, somebody with that type of strength in his arms, like you pointed out, is extremely hard to keep him down. That's why Sting knows that he's got to wear him down if he has any chance whatsoever of trying to pin the powerful Gaylord.
You know, Pete, we've talked about big rivalries, the Hacksaw Duggan one-man gang feud. We've talked about, you know, the missing link and situation, and you know, all the feuds going on in wrestling now. But when you look at vehement competition, and when the chips are down, what's it going to be like when Cowboy Bill Watts, Chavo, Guerrero, and Terry Taylor take on the Freebirds from Bad Street? Six-man tag action, and both rings. Now, remember, that's what is intriguing there. Both rings. I mean, how are you going to? I don't know how we're going to keep up with the action. We may have to get two more commentators and put it in quadraphonic sound or something.
What happens is a match going on in each ring with the third member of the team standing in between either ring ready to tag in. And you know, many consider the Freebirds the best six-man tag wrestling in the entire world. We'll see it Friday, August 8th.
Well, I tell you, I happen to be one of those people that think that they are the best six-man tag team combination in the world today. They're so effective. The one-loss record speaks for itself. As Sting now, this young man has really gained a lot of experience as of late. Once again with a lateral press, and again, Gaylord is so strong that he kicked out of it. But I made a comment earlier. Gilbert was tutoring Rock and Sting, and with Cowboy Bill Watts convincing Rock that professional wrestling might not just be his cup of tea, Gilbert has turned all of his attention, out of necessity perhaps, but he has turned all of his attention to Sting, and I think Sting is the one that has benefited from that situation.
15 minutes have gone by in this match as Sting continues to bear down on Jeff Gaylord. One thing that Sting possesses, I think, he has the strength that Rock had, but he also has that quickness. And I think when he teams up with Eddie Gilbert in the future, you're going to see a very quick and dangerous and explosive team.
I think that's a great point. They're going to make a fine tag team combination. And speaking of tag teams, you'll see the fan.
4 minutes, the offer still stands.
The offer he's referring to, Jim, we might as well bring the television audience up to date. Before the match, Eddie Hot Stuff Gilbert made the offer to Jeff Gaylord that if he either won the match or lasted the 20 minutes, that he would give him one of his girlfriends.
Isn't that nice of him? What a humanitarian he is, huh?
He may find that there may be a lot of volunteers.
Yeah, I was going to say there's been a great tag teams. The Fantastics and the Sheep Herders will hook it up in Pasadena at the Civic Center in Pasadena. Great wrestling action on Monday night, July 28, 7:30. Our first event ever in Pasadena at the Civic Center. That beautiful facility, and you're going to see so many of the great UWF stars. We hope to see all the fans. They're our stars in Pasadena on Monday night, July 28th at 7:30.
That's a beautiful new facility out there, Jim, and it's so easy to get to, not only if you live in Pasadena, but in Houston as well. Right behind San Jacinto Junior College, right there in Fairmont Parkway. Mark it down in your book. Monday Night Wrestling, Pasadena Civic Center, July 28th. Good move by Sting as he was able to pick him up and use his momentum and use that body slam, but he's continues to try to pin him with that body press. And now Eddie Hot Stuff Gilbert was holding Jeff Gaylord, and just Sting was not able to change his direction. He was up in the air and came crashing down on Eddie Hot Stuff Gilbert. So Jeff Gaylord continues to impress, and that time Hot Stuff pulled him out, pulled his foot out from under him, as Jeff Gaylord now trying to even the score with Eddie Hot Stuff Gilbert. And that is a mistake just by the aggressive style of Jeff Gaylord.
It was a mistake on Gaylord's part, and the Sting buried the knee into the kidneys, and now the clothesline. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert has interjected himself, and Sting, with a blow to the kidneys and that body press, a flying press, secures a victory. But I think you got to put a little star by it, because Sting had one heck of a lot of help from Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. I said it before, when they meet the Fantastics, there's going to be some fireworks.
So the winner of the match, Sting, under the guidance of Eddie Hot Stuff Gilbert.
I'm sorry, I made my offer, but I just don't have room in my organization for people like you, Gaylord.
Eddie Hot Stuff Gilbert kind of running his
Brother
race
Sting, the winner.
on the defeat, but Eddie Hot Stuff Gilbert shouldn't feel too proud about it. The music begins. Sting is the winner, and we'll be back in just one moment. Wrestlers in the history of professional wrestling who you're going to see in action next week against Cowboy Bob Lang right here on television.
Yes, first of all, I would like to say it is always a great pleasure to be here in Houston Wrestling. I must say you have some wonderful wrestling fans here. And this Cowboy Lang that I'm supposed to wrestle next week, well, I've wrestled him several times in the past, and I'm not going to stand here and tell you and all these wonderful wrestling fans that he's easy, because he's not easy. He's tough, but he's not tough enough. He's no match for the Lord. It's just like sending a boy on a man's job. So, I mean, I just hope he's prepared. And the last time I wrestled him here was about 4 years ago. And I'm surprised that he even signed a contract to go in the ring with me again.
Well, Lord Littlebrook, who you will see in action, and it's a rare treat to see Lord Littlebrook in action. He will be in action next week against Cowboy Bob Lang right here on Channel 39 Gold on the bigger and better. Used to be here Friday, August 8th on that history-making card. 20-man, two-ring battle royal for $50,000. You know what that's all about.
You know, not only that, Peter, but there's 2 rings, 20 men. You got to throw one. You know, they do it every year, and I'm glad to be in it. And hopefully, I'm looking forward to the $50,000. But we have also signed a contract to wrestle 3 against the Freebirds. Terry Taylor, myself, and Bill Watts against the Freebirds, and I'm looking forward to it. And I want everybody out there to come out and support us, because this is what it's all about. Wrestling, the fastest growing sport, the fastest growing Universal Wrestling Federation, the fastest growing federation. Amigos, los quiero invitar para el 8 de agosto, ya que va a haber una batalla campal con 2 rines, con 20 hombres, $50,000 de por medio. También hemos firmado una lucha de relevos australianos, Bill Watts, Terry Taylor y su servidor contra los Freebirds. Y todo lo que les pido a ustedes es su apoyo. Así como me han estado apoyando, así como he llegado al estrellato con ustedes, así voy a luchar en la lucha estrella. Quiero que ustedes estén aquí para apoyarme. Vamos a enseñarle de lo que estamos hechos nosotros los mexicanos, de lo que está hecho la raza bronce. ¡Viva México, amigos! Y aquí nos vemos el 8 de agosto. Peter, we'll see you here the 8th, and hopefully $50,000, Richard. Thank you.
Good luck, Chavo. $50,000 to the winner of the 20-man, two-ring battle royal here on Friday, August 8th. And don't forget, Chavo will be here Friday, August 8th. He will battle Kamala, the Ugandan giant, And also, you've entered in that 20-man touring battle royal, $50,000.
That's right. You see the Birdman, he's back in Houston. He's doing his thing, baby. I want to say hello, Houston. I'm glad to be back because y'all are my fans, baby. I love the people right here in Houston. And you see that's going to be a 2,000. I mean, a lot of men's are, what, a battle royal, 2 battle royals, 2 rings in the Houston Coliseum. Let me get myself together here. That's right, 2 big old rings right here in the Sam Houston Coliseum. And, brother, there's going to be $50,000 on the line. You see, somebody's going to go home and party hardy. I ain't lying with you. They're going to be partying hardy with you all night long. But now I got to face Kamala, the Ugandan giant. You see, he's big and he's bad. But you know one thing? When I get him in that ring, I know definitely he's going to fall. Because I got to watch Skandar Akbar. I got to watch Kamala. And it only takes one mistake, Kamala, and you're going down for the 1, 2, and 3. So I'm not going to say that I'm going to beat you, but I'm going to tell you one thing. Don't make a big mistake and let me get on that ring, baby, and come out with the bird on you. Because if you do, you might as well, you're thrilled, baby, right here in the Sam Houston Coliseum. Because I'm telling the fans in Sam Houston is great, baby. Woo! I'm fired up, baby. I can't wait to see you, Kamala, because I'm going to beat you so bad, boy, that your own mama won't recognize you when you go back to Africa.
Coco beware. He's fired up. He's going to be facing Kamala that night. He also has a crack at 50.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I may please have your attention, we have a very important announcement that we need to make, and at this time I'd like to turn the microphone over to matchmaker Grizzly Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hacksaw Jim Duggan was scheduled to wrestle here tonight against the one-man gang. Last Sunday night, Duggan received a very severe injury to his neck and is unable to wrestle.
Let me explain something to you people. Yeah, it's easy for y'all to sit up there and boo and hiss, but I bust my neck for y'all, and it's been easy for me to have Grizzly Smith come down here and tell you that he couldn't make it. But this is Houston, Texas. This is my home, and all I felt was love and respect from you people since I first came here. And it was my decision to come down here myself. I wanted to be the one because I love and respect you as much as you do me. So I wanted to come down here man to man and tell you folks that I won't be able to wrestle. It's a dark time for the UWF. Steve Dr. Death Williams has been hurt. I've been hurt. But if we all stick together, if we all pull together, we'll come through this dark time. I just want to ask this one thing, not only for your support now, but also for your prayers. Thank you.
Well, there you heard Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who was scheduled to meet one-man gang tonight, Jim Ross, and Duggan, in typical Duggan fashion, came down. He could have stayed at home because the doctors would not allow him to wrestle, but he came down and personally appealed to the Houston wrestling fans.
Jim Duggan's doctor advised him, first of all, not even to make the trip to Houston, and he did, because as he said, he wanted to be here himself to let the people know. And again, Hacksaw Duggan extended his utmost apology.
Well, Bruce Pritchard has really hit it on the head, the nail on the head there. I'll tell you, Hacksaw Duggan, I've seen the X-rays, Pete, and I'll tell you, he has a very severe neck injury, and this situation, I told the situation in the gang is getting completely out of hand.
Let me tell these people something. I'm back here listening to Hacksaw Duggan, and I got tears coming out of my eyes. First, 27 stitches in his head didn't put him down. Now he's out here with a neck brace on big enough to fit an elephant. Well, Duggan, you ain't nothing but a yellow coward. I'm here. I'm ready to fight, man. You are a yellow stinking rat. If I had some yellow paint right now, I'd paint a streak up your back. Well, let me tell you something. It proves one thing.
One-man gang taking full advantage of the situation. He knows it's the doctors who will not allow Hacksaw Jim Duggan to wrestle. If Duggan had his way, he would be in the ring.
Well, the doctors are saying that by August the 8th, Hacksaw Duggan will be able to wrestle. I hope that with the fans' thoughts and their prayers that will happen. I feel like it will. And Duggan wanted that match on the 8th to be signed with no rules. And folks, I'll tell you something. When Duggan comes to you and he says, I don't want any rules, I got something for the gang. And let's go back to Grizzly Smith here.
The match by default.
Shut up!
Over an injured man.
Matchmaker Grizzly Smith.
He wants the bell rung to signify the starting of the match so he can get his hand raised. We have no choice but to award him the match by default.
That's true, Pete. It's a technicality, but that's the way that it is. I'm not agreeing with it, obviously, but that is the only alternative. And can you imagine Hacksaw Duggan sitting in a dressing room right now watching the monitor? And Jimbo, I know you can hear us back there, buddy. It's awful hard for him, Pete, to sit there right now.
Sure is. I tell you, that one-man gang is gaining a reputation as one of the most feared and dangerous wrestlers in professional wrestling today.
He is dangerous. He's 6'9", 454 pounds. Those tattoos. I wish you get a good shot of those tattoos. He's got tattoos tattooed to his skull. Now,
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match.
Tattooed to his skull. I mean, that's a kind. That signifies the one-man gang. But remember, folks, August the 8th, when Duggan comes back and wrestles that man you see on your screen, it's no rules. It's no disqualification. It's man-to-man on August the 8th in the Coliseum. If nothing else, the two-ring battle royal was standing, I would be here for that one, if nothing else.
After seeing these last few moments, Jim, I don't even know if two rings are going to be big enough for those two big men, because we know what kind of determination Jim Duggan's going to come back on Friday, August 8th and battle one-man gang, a man going up the aisle right now. We'll be back with more exciting wrestling action in just one moment.
Now this is an interesting situation, and it's just going to break down right here, Frank.
It's into a six-man brawl. They're all in the ring. They're all in the ring, Jim.
All six of them in the ring, and you can bet there's a lot of love that Duggan, DiBiase, and Taylor have for the Cowboy. And there's a lot of scores to be settled on their own personal issues.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting hour of the Universal Wrestling Federation. I'm Jim Ross. I'll be your host for the next 60 minutes. Michael Hayes will be providing the color commentary as this hour progresses, ladies and gentlemen. We've just seen some exciting footage from last week. One heck of an impromptu six-man tag match.
Hey, look, first of all, it wasn't supposed to be a six-man tag. You've seen the three of them try to jump on two of us, and that's the way those guys have to do. It's like I told everybody, though, you stick your nose in our business, and you're going to wind up out of the UWF.
Well, we'll let that stand. That's Michael Hayes' opinion, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, it's a fact, baby. It's a fact.
We have two championship matches here today. The UWF Tag Team Championship will be on the line. The Fantastics will defend against Hollywood John Tatum and Jack Victory.
With Missy Hyatt.
And she will definitely be at ringside, and how could you miss her?
You can't.
The UWF Television Championship on the line. Terry Taylor against Freebird Buddy Roberts.
And you'll see it change right here today. No other program in the world, no other wrestling program in the world will give you two title matches like that, but the UWF, and plus Michael P.S. Hayes doing the color commentary. I mean, ladies, what more could you want?
Plus Hacksaw Jim Duggan goes against the one-man gang. It's going to be a tremendous hour. We'll also address the Dr. S.D. Williams injury situation later in this hour. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be doing all that.
Hey, he stuck his nose where it didn't belong. Bill Watt stuck his nose where it didn't belong 2 weeks ago. When you stick your nose in the Freebirds business or you try to walk down bad street, ain't no way of getting out, Daddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first match is in the ring. Let's go to ring announcer Mike Wilson.
Introducing first from Libya at 275 pounds, the Libyan. His opponent from Houston, Texas at 240 pounds, Gary Young. This match, 1 fall or 10-minute time limit.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready for our first match here. The Libyan, 275 pounds, going against Houston, Texas' own Gary Young here in the Universal Wrestling Federation. Thank you very much for being with us. So many great matches, and they're started off right here.
Another good arm drag. To the side headlock, Young moving quick. Now, we've seen Young a couple times. We've seen him lose to DiBiase. We've seen him lose to a couple other people, but he's still trying. He's still in there, and that's the only way you're going to climb to the top, especially when you're starting out. And the Libyan's a big man to try to get through. I wouldn't doubt it. We'll see another loss here. Went for an elbow. He missed it. Whoa! Libyan caught him with that boot. Good move. Always have something in the backfire, in the back of your mind in case something does backfire. Now he's working that back. Now, if it was me, I'd stay to the gut. That's what originally hurt him, Jim Ross.
Powerful body slam by the Libyan here on the Universal Wrestling Federation.
There's a punch to the jaw. There's a nice legal open hand slap to the throat.
The Libyan now working over Gary Young on the ropes. The referee getting very, very close to disqualification there. Now back on the ropes. Referee Tommy Gilbert. We're glad to see him back in action from his injury.
That Libyan looks fired up. Looks like he's ready for bear. Boy, that's a big elbow to hit you, man. 275 pounds hitting it with that momentum coming off the ropes. Young's trying to fire back. I don't know if he's got it. There was one blow to the back of the spine of the neck, but it didn't seem to have much effect. This Libyan, 275, man, that's a big man. There is, that one has some effect. There's a blow to the ear. All illegal, I might add. Young went to shoot him for a turnbuckle. The Libyan reversed it, charged him. Whoa, wait a minute. Sunset flip out of the corner. 1, 2, 3. He caught it. What an upset. What an upset.
Houston, Texas, Gary Young with the victory on the Universal Wrestling Federation.
That just goes to show you, Jim Ross, you never know who's going to win. That kid's been on TV, been beat before, but he ain't give up. He's come back week after week, and now he got a victory over the Libyan.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with an update on the Steve Dr. Death Williams injury situation and some very important comments from Ted DiBiase and Cowboy Bill Watts when we return from this timeout. Particular segment of the Universal Wrestling Federation, we want to address the injury situation of Steve Dr. Death Williams recently in New Orleans. Dr. Death was...
The doctor needs a doctor.
Well, he's had some very, very special care, and with the neck injury that he has...
his career is finished.
Well, that remains to be seen.
It's finished.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, in this segment, we're going to take you back in time, and we're going to travel to New Orleans, Louisiana, at the beautiful Lakefront Arena. We're going to see that incident, and then we're going to hear some comments that I want you especially to listen to.
Well, I'm here.
From Ted DiBiase and from Cowboy Bill Watts. Let's go now to the footage.
Power slam. Gordy's down. DiBiase signaling for the figure 4. He's signaling for the figure 4. This could be it. We could have a new UWF champion right here. No! Terry Bam Bam Gordy kicked him off. Ladies and gentlemen, Frank Dusek here at UNO Lakefront Arena with this Universal Heavyweight Championship match. Some 20 minutes into the match, competition been fierce. Terry Gordy taking over again on the battered Ted DiBiase. This has been back and forth for the last 20 minutes. DiBiase in for the ride. Reverse. Gordy, turnbuckle. Again, a second one. Ooh, the clothesline, and DiBiase's down and down hard. This could be it. Ronnie West, referee, in for the cover. 1, 2, 3. Terry Gordy has successfully defended the UWF Heavyweight Championship against the #1 competitor, Ted DiBiase. Terry Gordy, your UWF champion, retains his title right here in the beautiful Lakefront Arena. Wait a minute, here's Michael Hayes, ladies and gentlemen. Michael P.S. Hayes. You never see one Freebird without the other. There to raise his brother's hand. Anytime this man's in the ring, you'd best be careful. What's it? Who's the sissy? Who's the sissy? He's asking Ted DiBiase now. Who's the sissy? You better be careful, Michael Hayes. You're going to awaken a sleeping tiger. Oh! I told you, it's DiBiase. He's all over Hayes. He's all over Hayes. Hayes is holding him. Wait a minute. Here's Gordy. Gordy's back into the ring. Another clothesline. DiBiase's down and down hard. Here's the third bird. You never see one without the other two. All three in the ring. Gordy to the top. Signaling for the spike. He's signaling for the spike. DiBiase's hurt. DiBiase's down and he's hurt bad, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, this is uncalled for. Oh, no. No, no, no. He's going for the pile driver on the floor. No. Just like Atlanta, 1982. Oh. Oh, no, this is unbelievable. Where's some help? Someone from the back, please, if you can hear me, please send someone out for some help. Please send someone else. DiBiase's down. Williams out. He's not moving. He's hurt. Oh, yeah, this is terrible. This is terrible.
You know, I just came from the hospital to visit my partner, one of my very best friends, Dr. Death Steve Williams. And I looked down at him, laying in a hospital bed, his neck in traction, motionless, unable to speak. And it brought back some real painful memories to me. And it brought them back real vividly. 1981, Atlanta, Georgia, where the same three Freebirds did exactly the same thing to me, and it was me laying in that hospital bed. But the thing that really hurts the most is that I know this happened to Doc because he was coming to help me. He was coming to help his friend, and now he's laying there in that bed, and Doc's a stud. Doc's a stud athlete, and to see my friend laying there like that, well, it just hurts real bad. And something really needs to be done. Something needs to be done about these Freebirds, and I looked into Doc's eyes. You know, when you get to know somebody, and you get as close to somebody as Doc and I have gotten to each other, you don't have to say anything. There's just a look between you. And I looked into those eyes, and he looked back at me, and they said one thing without a word being spoken. I'll be back.
I was just getting ready to take off for my workout. I came by here, the Universal Wrestling Federation headquarters, and it always kind of gives me a time to reflect when I can think back about some of the great champions, some of the great athletes we've had, and of course the greatest. And the mail is already coming in, and just keep sending your mail, because we'll see that Steve Dr. Death Williams gets every letter you write. Dr. Death, Pro Wrestling Illustrated 1985 Achievement Award, Steve Williams, Most Improved Wrestler of the Year, voted by the readers. We were all set to give him this plaque. He knew about the award. We were going to give it to him at the University of Oklahoma at his homecoming at the Lloyd Noble Center last Sunday. Stanley Abel, his coach, a former teammate of mine, a two-time national champion in his own right, was there to make the presentation. One thing was missing: Doc. A man seemingly totally indestructible, a man you couldn't injure. He's fallen prey to the vultures, the Freebird family that's circling up. And they're circling over everybody. But like vultures, they don't want you to be able to fight back. They almost got Duggan, DiBiase, not Doc, myself. In order to beat that family, you've got to have a family. You've got to pull them together. They got to come together. That's why when you work out, you wear something that motivates you. Doc's there. He's like one of my own kids. He's my personal protege. You can't get down with this, Freebirds. I'll tell you what. I'm going to get everybody I need, whatever I need, but we're going to clip your wings.
Well, there's the whole scenario, and I want to say one thing, because I know you got a lot to say. You may have bit off a little bit more than you can chew on this situation.
Oh, no, let me tell you something. What Dr. Death did and what Bill Watts did 2 weeks ago and what other guys are having. I warned everybody when we first came here to sell their houses and get out of here. Nobody listened. They come sticking their nose in our business. What they did was they wrote a check that their butt couldn't cash. Now, Dr. Death had no reason to be out there. Terry beat Ted DiBiase just like he said he would, just like I said he would. That's why he is the Universal Heavyweight Champion. He's the best man in the universe. You don't stick your nose in the Freebirds business. You don't walk down Bad Street, baby, because if you do, you might just need a doctor.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back after this announcement from the Universal Wrestling Federation.
Vendor, burrito eater? Is he going to be an Indian or what? The guy don't know. Is he lost? He doesn't know what his personality is.
He's a very proud Spanish individual, Michael, and he's a very talented athlete, and I think we're going to see, every time I've ever seen Chavo Guerrero in action, we've seen some tremendous wrestling maneuvers, and he's also got that short Latin fuse, that temper that boils in a hurry.
Yeah, I know. I've run into a couple of Latin broads that got ticked off at me real quick. Good hip toss. sauce.
That I can certainly understand. Chavo.
Well, they didn't understand why I had other girls, too. I mean, you can't just limit PS to one person.
Chavo Guerrero, originally from Mexico City, now making his home very proudly, I might add, in El Paso, Texas.
Good move there. Chavo went behind with the hammerlock. Mendoza came back and tossed him out of it.
Matter of fact, we'll be in Chavo's hometown this Monday night. Can't wait to be there at the Civic Center. Should be a great one.
We've sold it out every time we've been there. And you know, not only there, we're going to be back in Memphis City. That's right. You know, they just did a big album with Jerry Lee Lewis and Johnny Cash and Roy Orbison, the Memphis Sound. Well, the Freebird Fantasia Sound and the rest of the UWF is going to be back in Memphis on July 25th. And I can't wait to be back in Reunion Arena, Dallas, the city that we own. Not that we like to own it, but we just took it over on the 27th.
Exactly right. Ladies and gentlemen, Chavo Guerrero, a young man that coached wrestling at Jefferson High School in El Paso, and now he has really got Gustavo Mendoza.
Boy, he does.
In a, let's say, a very precarious position.
Well, he's got both legs grapevine with his feet, and he's got his hands, as everybody can see, stretched back. And that really, on the back, on your back, man, that's stretching it. That's stretched. And any normal man would be giving up right now. And plus, he's bouncing him on his knees. Now he's going to a chin lock. That's really stretching it. Every muscle from the top of your shoulders down to your sternum. On top of that, it's hard to get out of.
Chavo Guerrero, from the proud Guerrero wrestling family. Chavo.
Well, he found a way to get out of it. He poked him in the eyes. You know, getting back to Dr. Death, he should have learned that you don't mess with the Freebirds. Bill Watts, you know you don't mess with the Freebirds. We beat everybody, no matter where it is. We beat Bill Watts up here in Oklahoma. We beat the Road Warriors in Chicago. He went for a tumbling roll there. He might get the pin on Guerrero. Nope. I don't think it quite had the effect he wanted it to. There's a side kick. Now they're going to go at it. There's a blow to the gut. Another side kick. I think he's learned that because Chavo's a big star in Japan and used a little bit of that Oriental stuff that he's learned over there. We beat the Von Erichs in Dallas. We beat the Road Warriors in Chicago. Good monkey flip. Beat up the Cowboy in Oklahoma. It doesn't matter where you don't walk down Bad Street because the boys are back in town to stay.
Chavo Guerrero opening up on Gustavo Mendoza.
There it is. Looks like a bear hug. Definitely is. Whoa, beautiful move. Over from a bear hug to a belly-to-belly, got him hooked.
Chavo Guerrero is a true superstar in professional wrestling. He'll be in El Paso Monday night, and we'll be back right here. The UWF Tag Team Championship will be on the line when we return from this message. fall or television time remaining. They're going to settle it down here now, and the battle will start momentarily.
I don't know if it'll ever be settled down. You know, the Fantastics, as I understand, are pretty decent friends with ZZ Top and those guys, so they think they're hot stuff. Well, hey, I told you before, the reason I've been bragging about it, next week we're going to premiere, we had the cameras come to studio, our follow-up hit single, The Bad Street USA. The boys are back in town with Ricky Medlock playing guitar. Right now I think we might have a conversation right here.
Well, there's some history between John Tatum and Missy Hyatt and the Fantastics from months gone by.
Ain't no reason to push, baby. Ain't nothing between you but air. Get it on, and they are. Here they go. Shot him in. Ooh. Kick. Whoa.
Boy, he was elevated. Tommy Rogers, Bobby Fulton, the Fantastics, and there you see the UWF Tag Team Champions.
Copying my walk. Look at this. Slate shot him in. Boy, this may not, we may have plenty of time. The way this is going. A blow to the head. Another blow. They've got victory, really. They're going to go to shoot them together. Boom. Well, I'll tell you what, if Tatum and Victory are going to make a serious challenge, they're going to have to regroup here. Because the Fantastics are hot, they're on the run. Headlock side, take over, good move by Tatum right into the head scissor.
They pulled his hair.
Oh, I didn't see that. But it's good move. See, he's getting some rest, he's getting his breath, and he's got the guy locked in. What? Now, why'd they make him break the hold?
Because he pulled the hair, Michael.
Oh.
There's rules. You should read the rule book every now and then. You might learn something there. It's an enlightening experience. Read the rule book occasionally.
Hey, I don't need to read. I just need to do what I do best. Be with my brothers, make money, and rock and roll. And like I said, our new hit single, Boys Are Back in Town, you'll get to see how we recorded it. And everybody knows that the boys are back in town. Dr. Death knows the boys are back in town. Bill Watts knows the boys are back in town.
Can you sing if your jaw's wired shut?
Who's going to wire it shut, smarty?
There's a big cowboy that's... We'll talk about that at another time. This match is a very important matchup.
It sure is, and there she is, boy. Almost as good as me. Good body slam by Victory. Went for an elbow. Rogers moved. Another, whoa, boom. A drop kick into another drop kick. I'll tell you what, Tommy Rogers could probably have been a great Olympic, what do they call it, high jumper there. Because I've never seen somebody for his size get up there.
These young men have captured the hearts and minds of the fans, Universal Wrestling Federation, and they've earned that respect.
Tatum looks like he might have a busted lip there. But he didn't get that name Hollywood John Tatum by being no slouch, and neither did Jack Victory.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I won't take anything away from them, the men athletically.
And knowing Missy Hyatt, and what I do know about her, she don't put up with losers. She does not put up with losers. She's used to the glamorous life all her life. And,
in other words, you're saying she's spoiled.
Yeah, she's spoiled, baby. And getting these belts will feed that ego of hers. Boy, they're thundering. It sounds like a thunderstorm here. The building is coming down. It's like this any arena you go, of course, because we're there. But UWF, when it goes on tour, brother, it rocks and rolls all the way.
We certainly appreciate all the fans joining us here on the program. There is just nothing like being in your local arena as Tatum and Victory have had their conference, and now let's see if their strategy is...
Elbow. There we go. He's got Fulton in the corner, and he's starting to pound on him. Tide is fixing to change. He's going for a turnbuckle, but Fulton, beautiful move. He stood up, did a head scissor drop kick. Tatum, another drop kick. Now Rogers is in there, now they're double teaming. See? And Gilbert, is he doing anything about it?
The Fantastics airline, they are flying high, and Mr. Tatum and Mr. Victory are certainly not pleased with the outcome of this match thus far.
And I don't know if the camera caught that. Tommy Rogers went out on the floor and kicked Jack Victory in the head.
The fans certainly love the Fantastics. And look at Missy.
Well, she's trying to regroup her man.
What kind of strategy is she going to lay on him?
I don't know, but she can regroup me. Then again, what does the broad really know about fighting? It's like that dark journey. She don't quit calling. I'm just getting my number changed. She knows she wrote that letter. I proved it. She come out here and lied, said she didn't. Sooner or later, I'll fix her.
There you see Bobby Fulton.
I think you asked about their strategy. What it is to slow down the momentum of the Fantastics, because the crowd's obviously got them fired up. And that's a very smart move on their part. Clean break by Tatum. Clean break. There he's trying to walk my walk. Can't nobody talk that talk or walk the walk like the bad Freebirds. Headlock by Fulton. Now he's in the corner. Tatum shoots him off, drops down. Fulton comes across. I don't know what happened there. He went to hit the ropes and must have jarred his obliques there.
He buried the knee in the kidneys. Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been notified we've got to take a commercial timeout here. We'll be right back. We'll be right back with more of the Universal Wrestling Federation Tag Team Championship after this timeout. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being with us here. Jim Ross back at ringside. Michael Hayes has left the podium to prepare Buddy Roberts, time permitting, for the UWF Television Championship against Terry Taylor. But we've got the UWF Tag Team titles on the line right here. The challengers, Jack Victory and Hollywood John Tatum. It's Victory and Bobby Fulton in the ring now. Fulton trying to regroup, and this crowd, what a phenomenal crowd here at the Tulsa Convention Center, and they're so vocal on this hot July night. John Tatum now with the elbow, and they have slowed the pace down considerably here. And a 2 count. Referee Tommy Gilbert still smarting from the back injury that he sustained a couple of weeks ago. Tatum trying for the, looks like a suplex, but Fulton's blocking it. Look at him grapevine that left leg. And Fulton reverses it. Rogers encouraging his partner to make the tag, and the tag is made. And Tommy Rogers of the Fantastics is opening up on Jack Victory. Now Fulton's in there with John Tatum. The challengers thrown together once more. And Fulton with those short right hands right to the face of Victory. Look at Missy Hyatt. It looks like she stuck her hands right in the eyes of Tommy Rogers. And the referee saw it, and they're calling for the bell, a disqualification. I think a disqualification's been rendered here. Missy Hyatt buried those long fingers into the eyes that looked like of Tommy Rogers. But we've got a very touchy situation here. And they're bringing Missy Hyatt in. Look at, they're wanting her to slap Tommy Rogers, and she slapped Rogers right in the face. How humiliating. But this crowd is deafening, and there goes Dark Journey in the missing link. They have seen all of what they want, and Dark Journey has slapped Missy Hyatt right in the face. And look at the link in the headbutts, and the Fantastics are back in the ring. Dark Journey says, "You are mine," and Missy Hyatt. Hyatt's trying to get out of the ring. Tatum and Victory are pulling her away from Dark Journey. The missing link.
They don't come any bigger, they don't come any tougher, and they don't come any meaner as one-man gang, who is boasting right now because of the injury he has given to Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
You got that right. They don't come no bigger, and they don't come no meaner than me. First of all, I came to Houston, Texas, and I put 27 stitches in Hacksaw Jim Duggan's head. Well, I thought that would put him out of wrestling, but it didn't put him out. So then I come back and I crack his neck, and he's got a big old brace on, big enough to fit an elephant. Well, I thought that was going to keep him down, but I'm not too sure about that.
Well, Duggan, 2 strikes. 3 strikes, you're out. Once more. The 3rd time is going to be the charm, Duggan. I'm going to put you out of professional wrestling no matter what it takes. And then the 8th, back here in the Sam Houston Coliseum, a 20-man, 2-ring battle royal. $50,000 to the winner. And you don't even have to ask who's going to win. You're looking at the winner right here. I'm winning $50,000 on the 8th. 20 men. I'm going to throw all 19 of them over the top, step over, throw them out on that side. The 8th right here.
One-man gang, no doubt about it. One of the big favorites to win the 2-ring battle royal on Friday, August 8th, right here in the Coliseum. 20 men in 2-ring battling for $50,000. That event will not John Tatum, Missy, Hyatt, and Jack Victory, who you will see in action next weekend right here on Channel 39 Gold and television, up against the Missing Link and Coco Beware, and they're here to stay.
You know, last week, which you saw, we got ripped off by the Fantastics. Y'all just saw it, man. It was not fair. Dark Journey and the Missing Link comes running out. She sneaks up behind me and she slaps me in the face.
In the face.
She doesn't do that.
It's okay, though. I'll
She
get him back.
does not do that. When I faced her eye to eye, woman to woman. And she comes up to me and sneaks up behind me. You know, Johnny, next week here in Houston on TV.
Right here.
Jack Victory.
Right here.
And Johnny is going to get revenge on you, Dark Journey.
I hope Dark Journey's here.
She better be there. And bring the Missing Link. Bring Coco Ware. Bring whoever you want to bring. Because you know what, honey? I'm going to teach you how to act like a woman and how to treat a man. Hey, boys, are y'all going to take care of Journey and the Link and Coco?
Would I lie to you?
Would I lie to you?
Never.
So Hollywood, John Tatum, Missy Hyatt, and Jack Victory. You will see them in action next weekend right here on Houston Wrestling on Channel 39 Gold, up against Coco Beware and the Missing Link, with Dark Journey and the Missing Link in Coco Beware's corner. What a showdown that's going to be right here next weekend on Channel 39 Gold. Plus, we'll talk to the world-famous Michael Hayes of the fabulous Freebirds. And the Freebirds have signed to be in that Super Summer Spectacular here in the Coliseum Friday, August 8th, in that 20-man 2-ring battle royal for $50,000. But just as important, they're in that 6-man tag war in 2 rings at the same time. And the fabulous Freebirds are known throughout the world as the best in 6-man tag wars.
That's because we are known as the world 6-man tag team champions. We are known for rock and roll. We are known for bad street and busting heads. And it wouldn't be a summer spectacular if the fabulous Freebirds weren't on it. Now, I told y'all on May 30th that one of us would walk out with that UFW title and the $100,000, and we did. Bam Bam's the champion, and we done spent the $100,000. Because you see, when you live the lifestyle that we do, spending $100,000 is no problem, because we live every night like a Saturday night. We are front page news every day. And I'm telling you right now that even though 50,000 ain't as much as 100, we'll still take it, just like we took the UFW title. But there's something else I want to talk about, because I am the fox that rocks, you understand? I am Michael P.S. Hayes, and every woman out there knows it. Knows what P.S. stands for. Your wife knows it. That's right, your wife, your girlfriend, your fiance, and even your daughters know it. P.S. stands for purely sexy. But come August 8th, right here at Sam Houston, I ain't gonna be purely sexy. You understand? Because there's one man that's on my mind. Somebody that can cost my brother the television title. That maniac that runs around with that baseball bat. He thinks he's Marshall Dillon. He didn't retire from wrestling. They forced him out because he's a fat-headed idiot. So now, we're going to have a 6-man tag team match. The only thing is, it's going to be in 2 rings. You understand that? Dos rings. And there's going to be one match going on one side and another match on the other side. And the third participants are going to be in the middle of the ring. So I'm going to get in the middle of the ring, and I'm going to decide who I want to beat on at which time. And nobody's going to do nothing about it. Because I'm going to tell you what, helium head Watts, you and that taco-bending Chavo Guerrero, and that little sissy Terry Taylor, who's holding Buddy's belt. You are holding Buddy Jack Roberts' belt, boy. And this ain't gonna go on for long, because you're fixing to have to put it up against him. And if there's anybody who's gonna do anything about it, it's gonna be me. Because I'm sick and tired of bureaucracy. I have put up with this all of my life. I have fought up since a little kid on the streets to get where I got to today. And I ain't letting no president, no fat-headed Bill Watts, no Taco Bennett Chavo Guerrero, or no sissy like Terry Taylor ruining it. You understand that? You just be ready on the 8th.
The fabulous Freebirds battle Cowboy Bill Watts, Chavo Guerrero, and Terry Taylor in a 6-man 2-ring tag war. That match is going to make history, and wrestling fans, you should be here in the Coliseum to catch all the color and excitement of that history-making 6-man 2-ring tag war.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match for the UWF television title. Introducing first, the challenger from Bad Street, USA, at 233 pounds, Freebirds, Buddy Roberts. And the second match, Freebirds, Michael P.S. Hayes.
What's going to the ring? The Cowboy has got that Tennessee thumper. And he's after Michael Hayes, and rightfully so. And let's see with a 40-yard dash time Michael Hayes can run. The Cowboy came to the ring there with Terry Taylor, and he's got that Steve Dr. Death Williams shirt on. And look at that baseball bat, and Buddy Roberts is in one heck of a bad spot. Don't you know that Michael Hayes had some strategy planned? Well, let's see. The Cowboy has got the bat, and everybody is respecting that. Let's listen to this.
You all got rid of my friend Dr. Death. He's badly injured. He's got knee. You're not getting any more, my friends, Freebirds. Now, I'm not going to interfere in this match because Terry Taylor can handle you by himself. I want to tell you something. I got my Freebird wing clippers with me. And I'm going to stay around this area. And if any of those other Freebirds come down, I'm going to give them a real attitude adjustment.
Well, there you hear that from the big Cowboy, and don't think he doesn't mean business. He's no stranger to using a baseball bat, and I doubt if he played a day of organized baseball in his life, if you know what I'm saying. In any event, ladies and gentlemen, this match is for the Universal Wrestling Federation Television Championship. Terry Taylor, the champion, and Freebird Buddy Roberts, obviously the challenger. And I was going to say, don't you know that Michael Hayes had a real slick game plan lined out for this one, but it has backfired. And Buddy Roberts now not only has to worry about Terry Taylor, which is enough, but he's also got that man that just passed by our camera, 300 pounds with a ball bat. Roberts went to institute a right hand. Taylor blocked it, and get right back in the ring, and Roberts, I mean rapidly. He didn't care how he got in, just when he got in, and when was in a hurry. The Cowboy, Carl Fergie's in a real tough spot here because, you never know. Is Terry Gordy or Michael Hayes going to come to the ring? If not, they better be loaded for bear, or Cowboy, as it were. Roberts single leg pickup. Taylor elevates
Roberts, and Roberts turns right around and looks eye to eye with the Cowboy. Remember, time permitting in this hour, the big man from Glens Falls, New York, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and the one-man gang, nose to nose, right here on television. Chief Duggan, if you're listening up there in Glens Falls, I hope you're having a great day, sir. Side headlock by Buddy Roberts. Take him over. Taylor reverses it. Terry Taylor looks at the top of his game. He is so sharp here on the UWF. Another one of the more popular athletes that you'll see in Houston, Texas on August the 8th, Kansas City on August the 5th. Our first time in Kansas City, as a matter of fact, and our first time in Wichita, Kansas on August the 4th. Roberts now, even though he is in the head scissors, he has Taylor in a pinning predicament, and there's why, a little pull of the tights. Roberts is the veteran of the Freebird trio. I don't think there's any tricks that he hasn't used, and I know he hasn't forgotten any. Roberts with a right hand, blatant infraction of the rules. Roberts now taking over on Terry Taylor. And yes, ladies, Terry Taylor will be in Dallas, that reunion arena, that tremendous card. And now, momentum has stopped Terry Taylor with Buddy Roberts up. And the atomic drop, and Roberts' spine has got to be ajar. Taylor for the near fall there, a count of 2. Roberts leaning to the outside. Might not want to lean too far. Roberts there holding his hip, let's say. There has never been any love lost for any of the Freebirds, but when you break it all down, Terry Taylor and Buddy Roberts have certainly had a hot issue here in the UWF in the last 2 or 3 weeks, especially. And everybody great friends with Steve Dr. Death Williams. Our thoughts go out to him and his family. We wish him the speediest of recoveries. Cowboy Bill Watts surveying the action, but Terry Taylor now thrown all the way outside by Buddy Roberts. Now, Bill Watts said he's not going to get involved with Terry Taylor and Buddy Roberts' match, and I believe that. Cowboy standing there, but the referee has got to count. He is doing so. Taylor will have a 10 count, but Roberts stomping on the hands. That's not only going to add a little bit more injury and a little more pain to stop the count. Now Roberts to the attack here on Terry Taylor. UWF television title is on the line here. Fantastics retained the tag team titles earlier in the hour via disqualification. And what a slap Dark Journey gave Missy Hyatt. Missy was almost in tears. Buddy Roberts with a bulldog headlock. That's one of his favorite maneuvers. This could very well be it. We could be seeing a new television champion crowned right here. But he's not going for the pinfall at this point in time. He's going to try it one more time. But Taylor pushes him off. Perhaps Roberts should have gone for the pinfall after the first bulldog. In any event, Terry Taylor now back on the offensive. Taylor with a chop. The momentum back in the corner of the Vero Beach native Terry Taylor. Standing suplex. Terry Taylor now with a lateral press on Freebird Buddy Roberts, but Roberts' foot is on the ropes. The Freebird way is any way to keep him getting pinned, and Taylor has had all of Buddy Roberts he wants. I said it was a heated rivalry. Terry Taylor looks tremendous in this contest. Vicious backbreaker. Terry Taylor now strictly on the offensive. That knee to the head of Buddy Roberts. This should be it right here. And Roberts goes to the ropes. How frustrating can it be for Terry Taylor? Taylor with a body slam. Well, Taylor went for the elbow. Roberts, the veteran, moved out of the way very, very quickly. Now Roberts with the elbow, and he connected with his. Roberts connected with his elbow right to the face of Terry Taylor. A neck breaker by Roberts, the Freebirds, masters of so many maneuvers. And now, yes, sir, Terry Taylor. His foot was on the ropes. There's no pinfall, buddy. You still got to get two. And look at Roberts. He's keeping a lot of attention on Cowboy Bill Watts, but he's not been pinned. And Taylor with a 5-arm. Roberts thought Taylor was pinned, but he wasn't. And Terry Taylor retains the television championship. Terry Taylor retains the television championship with a hard-fought victory over Freebird Buddy Roberts. As long as Cowboy Bill Watts is there, well, we're going to look at Roberts. He's been beaten decisively here by Terry Taylor in a hard-fought match. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with Hacksaw Jim Duggan and the one-man gang, nose to nose, after this from the UWF.
Give me what you can. Presents at 454 pounds from Halstead Street, Chicago, the one-man gang.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan making his way to the ring. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, that special report on Dark Journey and Missy Hyatt. That situation, a premiere video on the Freebirds. We'll have Chavo, Guerrero back with us, and Cowboy Bill Watts in a mystery partner versus the Freebirds here next week. Don't miss next week's program and hang on to your seats. And it's breaking loose right here. And we knew that it would. The one-man gang and Hacksaw Duggan. And Duggan hasn't forgotten those 27 stitches. He hasn't forgotten that concussion. And the gang and Duggan hammering. Two big men. And this has got to be one of the hottest feuds in wrestling today. It's got to be one of the most physical. The gang going for the clothesline. And Duggan with a clothesline. And down goes the gang, all 6 feet 9'4", 54. And the Hacksaw is standing tall in the UWF. The General Skandar Akbar at ringside. This physical confrontation here on the Universal Wrestling Federation. And Grade A hand along the head of the one-man gang. And the gang is wobbly. He is in the old zone. And what a right hand by Duggan. Duggan with a forearm. The gang reared almost out of the ring. The one-man gang, all 454 pounds of him. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just about out of time. I wish you could be here. Don't miss all the great action when it comes to your arena. We'll have a tremendous program for you next week. Duggan and the gang are hammering. Ladies and gentlemen, for our whole crew, I'm Jim Ross. We'll see you next week on the
Hacksaw Jim Duggan was scheduled to wrestle here tonight against the one-man gang. Last Sunday night, Duggan received a very severe injury to his neck and is unable to wrestle.
Let me explain something to you people. Yeah, it's easy for y'all to sit up there and boo and hiss. But I bust my neck for y'all, and it's been easy for me to have Grizzly Smith come down here and tell you that he couldn't make it. But this is Houston, Texas. This is my home, and all I felt was love and respect from you people since I first came here. And it was my decision to come down here myself. I wanted to be the one because I love and respect you as much as you do me. So I wanted to come down here man to man and tell you folks that I won't be able to wrestle. It's a dark time for the UWF. Steve Dr. Death Williams has been hurt. I've been hurt. But if we all stick together, if we all pull together, we'll come through this dark time. I just want to ask this one thing, not only for your support now, but also for your prayers. Thank you.
You're looking at popular midget wrestler Cowboy Bob Lang, who you'll be seeing in wrestling action next week here on television. But also he has a few words to talk about August 8th, the big card.
It's August 8th. I'm going to make a special trip back to Houston, especially that one-man gang. He hurt my friend, very good friend of mine, Jim Duggan. I'm going to sit at ringside and watch this match. And I wish all the best for Jim Duggan. He's already hurt now with a broken neck, I think he is. I have heard. And I wish him all the luck in the world.
Cowboy Bob Lang voicing his opinion, which thousands of wrestling fans agree with, that Friday, August 8th, when One Man Gang meets Hacksaw Jim Duggan, you're going to see a battle that fans are going to talk about for a long, long time.
The reigning Universal Wrestling Federation television champion, Terry Taylor.
So there you have the introduction. This is for the Universal Wrestling Federation TV title, and you're looking at the champion right there, Terry Taylor, as he gets the final instructions from referee Tommy Gilbert. My name is Peter Burkholz, and here sitting right next to me to help me with the commentating on this all-important championship match is Universal Wrestling Federation's Jim Ross. This is a return match with Freebird Buddy Roberts demanding this return against Terry Taylor.
Well, he says that, Pete, that Cowboy Bill Watts was the reason that he lost the title. He says that the officiating was biased. We could go down numerous reasons or excuses why he doesn't have the title. And he cried long and hard. Cowboy Bill Watts, I think, did intimidate him, but rightfully so. The situation between Cowboy Bill Watts and the Freebirds is really volatile. It's very, very, I think, a very physical situation that they've all gotten themselves into. But right here, Terry Taylor doesn't back away from anybody, and Terry Taylor was more than happy to sign another match with Buddy Roberts to prove once again that he's the better man. And that's exactly what we have here. We'll find out who is the better man. And the UWF Television Championship on the line here. Tommy Gilbert, the official. It should be a classic matchup. And I'll tell you, we talk about a lot of rivalries in wrestling. And the Freebirds, Cowboy Bill Watts, Michael Hayes, Ted DiBiase, so forth. These two guys right here have got a pretty good rivalry going themselves.
You saw Terry Taylor block the right fist of Buddy Roberts, and he was able to come right back with a right fist of his own. One fall with a 60-minute time limit. So plenty of time. It's one fall. So all a wrestler needs is one opportunity. One mistake could mean defeat.
3 seconds is all it takes, right, Pete? 3 seconds, and that's not, if you look at it in the context that it's an hour time limit and only takes 3 seconds to get a victory, just doesn't take very long. Anywhere in that hour it can happen.
You know, the fabulous Freebirds, when they invaded the Universal Wrestling Federation, they made a lot of big boasts. So far, they've been able to back them up. They've been rampaging through everybody. That time, Terry Taylor, who's extremely well-versed at being able to handle his opponents coming off the ropes, was able to send Buddy Roberts flying. But I was talking about the Freebirds, as they've been charging across the UWF, they've come up against a few individuals and not taking a backward step, including Cowboy Bill Watts, who doesn't take a backward step to anybody. Even though there may be three fabulous Freebirds, Cowboy Bill Watts has not been intimidated.
And he will not be intimidated as well on August the 8th, because he will have Chavo, Guerrero, and Terry Taylor as his partners, Pete. And 2 rings, I still can't get over. You know, I made a comment that I've never seen in person a 2-ring battle royal or a 2-ring match of any kind. And now, one thing about because of television angles, it's impossible to cover the 2-ring match with any kind of clarity. So, in order to see it, you got to be here. It's that simple. And I hope that everybody will take advantage of that situation. Join us on Friday night, August the 8th. That's the next time we're here live. 2 rings. 2 big matches in 2 rings. Matter of fact, I think 3 matches will be in 2 rings. Will it, Pete?
That's correct.
We got 2 tag matches, a 6-man, and I would be surprised in that one ring when the girls are out there. I'll tell you what, I hope they wear some good, sturdy clothing and maybe coveralls or something, because I got a feeling it's going to be Katie bar the door, as the old expression goes, on that one.
It's going to be too tempting for those 2 females to see an empty ring where they can finally step in against each other and possibly settle their feud once and for all. Right now we got Buddy Roberts trying to put his shoulders of Taylor to the mat. That time that ripped across the face with the soles of the boot as Buddy Roberts of the fabulous Freebirds. The other two Freebirds, as most of you know, Terry Bam Bam Gordy, the current Universal Wrestling Federation heavyweight champion, and also the famous Michael Hayes. But Buddy Roberts now, he is determined to win that TV title so the Freebirds can add one more trophy to their trophy case.
No doubt about it. They made that boast. As you said, Pete, they're going to take all the titles. They've got the big one right now, the UWF Heavyweight Championship. And they've got their sights set here on Taylor's TV title. And the referee is really close to disqualifying Buddy Roberts, and Terry Taylor caught him coming in, and Tommy Gilbert are helping Terry Taylor get himself out of that predicament. Now Taylor coming right back. Taylor's in great condition. He's a phenomenal athlete, one of the big superstars, and now look what we have here. Buddy Roberts is in a sane position here, Pete.
The tables have turned, much to the delight of the crowd here in the Coliseum. They give Terry Taylor full permission to take advantage of the situation, and I don't think Terry Taylor needed permission from the crowd. He was determined that he was going to hound Buddy Roberts. One more thing about that six-man, two-ring battle on August 8th, Jim. There's a wrestling match going on in each ring at the same time, and fans who have seen this kind of action, I know they're going to be here in the Coliseum, and for those of you wrestling fans who have never seen a two-ring event, we urge you to be here in person at the Coliseum Friday, August 8th. Taylor missed that time. He was hoping that Roberts would still be tangled in the ropes, but when he came flying across, Roberts, who's a seasoned veteran, knew how to get out of the way, and he also knows how to follow up.
He sure does. Good point, Pete. That's exactly what I was thinking. Roberts knows Taylor's neck is hurt, and he followed right up with those elbows. Now, Roberts has a leg grapevine that shows his experience, and Taylor kicks out at a 2. You know, the Freebirds, it seems like in many of their matches, Pete, really like to work on the head and the shoulder area of their opponents. Up above the shoulders. They're really, because they use the Oriental spike, they use and the pile driver is one of the most devastating weapons that I personally have ever seen anybody exercise in wrestling.
Especially the way Terry Gordy likes to use it. He likes to use it to punish and sometimes hurt his opponent. Terry Gordy is a big, big man, and when he uses that pile driver and he's able to use that extra size that he possesses to drive his opponent's head into the mat and sometimes outside the ring.
We saw that earlier in the hour with Dr. Steve Williams, who is in traction, and he's still laid up. They are very, very well versed in that area. And now Buddy Roberts, who is so vile and sadistic. He may be, even though Michael Hayes has got that Charles Manson, like, I don't know, trance or whatever, Buddy Roberts just might be the most despicable and disgusting one of the bunch. But this crowd now, Terry, and they're not yelling Terry Gordy, it's Terry Taylor here in the Coliseum.
The chants being picked up from corner to corner in the Coliseum. Terry, Terry, Terry. And this, of course, is a great example of just how much enthusiasm this Houston wrestling crowd has and how much fun it is to come out and enjoy wrestling with other fans that enjoy it as well.
And the fans from all over the country will be here on August the 8th. The wrestling fans, where's that? The Wrestling Fans International Association have selected Houston to be the site of their big annual convention once a year as Terry Taylor with high elevation, perfectly executed drop kick. Terry Taylor now is clearly taking over on Freebird Buddy Roberts. The television champion, Terry Taylor with a knee drop with a vicious maneuver. I'll tell you, Taylor executes that particular maneuver as well as anybody I've ever seen.
Taylor's not holding anything back. This is a crucial match as he's got Roberts high in the air and back suplex, and that is a punishing maneuver. And Taylor's on top. Got 2 at no 3 as Roberts was able to kick out. You know, you were talking about the contrasting styles with the Freebirds. Terry Gordy, rough and tough and big and strong. Also with that pile driver and that Asian spike. Michael Hayes, the more colorful the Freebird, but just as tough in the ring. But all you got to do to describe Buddy Roberts is say he's one of the fabulous Freebirds. No explanation has to go beyond that. He has earned that reputation. Now he's on that top rope, and he was aiming with that elbow. It took a little bit too long for him to climb those ropes, but if that elbow would have landed, we may have had a new TV champion. So Taylor now on top of Buddy Roberts. One blow after another as they flash the face of Buddy Roberts. That's Michael Hayes. As Michael Hayes has come down to ringside, and they're battling. Taylor's fighting both Freebirds.
Michael Hayes down in ringside. The Freebirds, I'll tell you, they can't stand it. They're always one-on-one. That's two-on-one. The Freebirds are double teaming tactics. But there's a big cowboy on his way to the ring. There's a 300-pounder. And he's got a right hand the size of a hand.
And he knows how to throw it. He's had plenty of years of experience.
Well, we're sorry we ran out of time, but you'll see the balance of that battle on next Saturday night's show. Remember that. And be sure to look in tomorrow morning. If you're watching on Saturday night, be sure that you catch our Sunday edition of this show. And we tell you that we will be back here with more action next week. We've had a lot of action here tonight, and it's hard to keep track of it all. But remember that the ticket sale is at 1919 Caroline, starting on Monday morning for Friday, August the 8th. So long, everybody.
Houston Wrestling was brought to you by...
Today on Sports World, the Lone Star State displays its colors as this land-rich imposing New York City's skyline sets the stage for our special encore presentation of Ms. Olympia, where the finest female physiques in the world vie for the coveted title. That's all today on NBC's Sports World. This is NBC's Sports World, and today it's brought to you
They are tough, and when they get going, watch out. They come here with a wide variety of sports backgrounds. A junior gold medalist in synchronized swimming. A black belt in karate. A former collegiate state gymnastics all-around champion. A collegiate Big Ten pentathlon champion. And they are pursuing careers equally as varied. A hotel manager, a model, even a chemical engineer. What could these women possibly have in common? Just this. Each of them wants to hold the most prestigious women's bodybuilding title in the world. Welcome to Madison Square Garden in the IFBB Miss Olympia Professional Bodybuilding Championship. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dorothy Lucy, and you know, I can't even begin to imagine what these women have gone through to get here today. 23 very determined people. These women have been through months of endless workouts, endless diets. Some of these women haven't seen a candy bar in so long. They tell me they think an apple is an ultimate treat. But none of them are going to cheat until after the competition because they want to beat Corey Everson. She is the reigning Ms. Olympia. She's here in terrific shape. Now, joining me on this telecast is three-time Mr. Olympia Frank Zane, and Frank is standing by with Corey.
What's it going to take to win?
Well, it's going to take more than just big arms or well-developed back lacking legs. Today's standards requires an overall balance, proportion, symmetry. So it takes somebody who has trained very intelligently, studied every body part, and trained each body part equally and developed them all.
Frank, Corey does look terrific, and I think you can tell by my lack of muscles, I'm not exactly the expert. But if I had to pick Corey's competition, I would say perhaps Claire Furr, kind of a newcomer, but she looks terrific. And there's Mary Roberts, who's been competing for a long time, but looks better than ever this year. And also, don't forget Carla Dunlap. She is a former Miss Olympia. It's going to be a great competition. There's a sellout crowd, and I have heard that New York crowds are sometimes kind of crazy, so we have something to look forward to. If you're ready, let's go.
And a crazy and enthusiastic crowd they are, Dorothy. It's a sellout house.
Frank, on stage, Carla Dunlap. Carla's from New Jersey and a former Miss Olympia. Now, you know, this competition is sort of the World Series of women's bodybuilding. Although I guess the uniforms are a little skimpier, Frank, but the tension isn't. I'm wondering, is there extra pressure on Carla because she's been a champion here before?
If there is, Dorothy, she certainly isn't showing it on stage. I think that of all of the competitors, Carla has the most original and spontaneous movements. She just flawlessly goes from pose to pose.
Now, Frank, what we're seeing is the third round of this competition. The judges have already been studying the women. Can you give us an idea of what happened in the preliminaries?
They judge basically on their development, how they're developed, their proportion, their symmetry, their muscular definition, how well the muscles stand out. Those results are already in. Carla's doing very well up there. I wonder if she's winging it. She seems to be making it up as she's going along. I just wonder if she's doing that.
Frank, in this third round, the free posing to music, what do you think the judges are looking for?
They're looking at how good each woman looks in her own unique poses, as well as how they interpret the music with their movements. A really good routine. She shows great attitude and confidence, no doubt about that. We'll be back.
Do you recognize this lady? You may have seen her in a bar, on TV that is, lifting kind of an overeater, Rodney Dangerfield. Now a mom and lifting a considerably lighter bundle. It is amazing. Lori Bowen Rice became a mother just 6 months ago, and now she is back competing.
I was just made so aware of, even at an early age, that you don't want to just use pregnancy as an excuse not to exercise or to eat whatever you want and just get fat. You know, there's no excuse for it. There's an old saying my mother told me, whatever you did before you got pregnant is all right to do when you get pregnant. So I just used that as my guideline and tried to watch my weight, and it was real easy, really.
Easy, she says with that Texas accent. I still question that, Frank, but tell me, do you think Lori has made a complete comeback?
Dorothy, I think it's too soon after having a baby. 6 months is not much time at all when you think about what a woman goes through in childbirth. I think she needs actually a few more months to get into real rock-hard shape. Although she does look very good, I've seen her look better than this.
Frank, seeing Lori and her healthy baby reminds me of a major story to come out of this event. Every woman we'll see today was tested for drugs, and they all passed. Now, this is the first sport to do it. Do you think it's a little ironic? Because many people think steroids are synonymous with bodybuilding.
It's a good question, Dorothy. Many people think that you have to take drugs to get into competitive shape, but I think what we're seeing here today disproves that. These women are in top shape, and none of them have used drugs. Lori just doesn't look like she's getting into her posing. She really doesn't look confident. Right there. A little smile, but just not enough for the audience.
And this is the round where charisma counts. Lori Bowen Rice. Next up, from the pages of Vogue to the stage of Madison Square Garden, Gladys Portuguese, a model, but as you're about to see, more than just a pretty face.
What I tried to do was to form an illusion, in a sense, because I am one of the smallest ones in the lineup, and I'll always be one of the smallest ones. But I had to form some kind of an illusion, in a sense, where I look bigger than what I am, than what my weight really is. And that is just making the waist very small and working on the lats as wide as possible and just bringing up good quality muscle.
And speaking of charisma, Frank, do you think Gladys has succeeded in her bodybuilding plan?
Dorothy, I can relate to her plan all right because it was the same plan I had. I was probably the most slender Mr. Olympia, and I had to create this illusion of size on stage too. But if you're in top shape, like Gladys is, and she does have that small waist you can see there, she does create the illusion of having more size than she actually does.
You know, Frank, Gladys told me she began bodybuilding because her friends were kidding her about being so skinny. I could stand that kind of kidding.
I think most women could, no doubt about that. But Gladys wants to be more than just skinny. She wants to have development, and she has the charisma. She's really a total performer. You get the impression that when she's posing, she's loving every minute of it. There you can see how small her waist is. It must be under 20.
No, I know she's a little nervous because she's a New York girl and her mom is in the audience, and she told me that makes her more nervous than any judges.
She certainly doesn't look nervous to me. Very nice performance.
New York loves Gladys. We'll be back. You are looking at Claire Furr, doing very well in third place after the preliminaries. Claire is from New Orleans. Frank, what do you think about her development?
She's in great shape, Dorothy. Her back, and her shoulders, and her arms are some of the most developed I've ever seen on a woman.
Ooh, a little stumble there, Frank. Do you think that will hurt her?
I think so. I think her posing is not in the same class as Carla Dunlap, for example. Her movements just aren't as graceful, or she doesn't really show the confidence, for example, like Tina Plackinger does when she's posing. So I think that's going to knock her down a little bit.
You know, she is just a bundle of nerves. She mentioned yesterday that when she's on stage, her heart beats so loudly, she's afraid our microphones will pick it up.
Good facial expressions.
Claire is, of all things, a chemical engineer. But Frank, she says she is so tired of dieting that as soon as she quits bodybuilding, she's going to open an ice cream parlor.
Well, I hope she doesn't put on too much weight in the off-season from eating all that ice cream. A little change in the tempo of her routine now. I think this faster pace suits her development a little bit more. A little stumble there. Seems a little shaky. Claire Furr, although her posing's a little shaky, I'm really impressed with the way she looks. The hardness of her muscles is just incredible.
We'll be back with more of the Miss Olympia competition right after this. I'm Dorothy Lucy, along with Frank Zane. The Miss Olympia title is at stake, and we are at Madison Square Garden. On stage, Tina Plackinger from California. Frank, I asked Tina if she was in top shape, and she replied, "The plaque is back." Do you agree?
Tina is good as always, Dorothy. She's always in relatively good shape. However, I think for this contest, she's not quite as good as she has been before. Posing, of course, is great as usual.
Can you look at Tina and tell me what the judges are thinking, or more importantly, what they're writing on their scoring sheets?
Well, it's really hard to say, but I think when you watch Tina pose, you're sort of mesmerized by her movements and her flawless execution of things like moonwalking, her great flexibility, and how her personality really shows through when she's posing. Facial expression she has really shows that she's into her posing, and I think this really impresses both judges and audience. There's Tina's famous moonwalk, second only to Michael Jackson. Really a great performer, Tina.
Tina is getting quite an ovation, but she has got to have a lot on her mind because coming up next is Mary Roberts. Now, after 8 long years of training, you wonder if Mary needs any extra motivation.
I don't need that extra push. I just have it in me. It's unusual. I'm very, very self-confident, very. And I think that is what makes a champion.
Frank, I don't think Mary would mind us saying that she is one of the senior citizens here at 35, but she seems to be in great shape. Would you say she's not getting older, she's getting better?
She's definitely getting better, Dorothy. You can see from her back development, for example, just what great shape she's in today.
And the longer you work a muscle, the muscle becomes more cooperative, doesn't it?
Yeah, you get to know your body. After a certain period of time, you really know exactly what you need to do, and Mary's been training long enough that she certainly knows just exactly what to do.
Mary is the mother of 2 teenagers, and Frank, I think we can remember way back to when we were teenagers, you didn't always want your mother around. But Mary says her kids say to their friends, come here and look at my mom's muscles.
Yeah, they're really proud of Mary. You don't see many moms that look like that these days. Mary is very charismatic on stage, too. Her movements are very self-assured, and coupled with her fine development, especially in her upper body. Look at the side of her leg there, for example, is really in fine condition. She's going to do very well in this competition.
Frank, for the first time, all the women were tested for drugs, and they all passed. Do you think that will have an effect on the sport?
I don't think so, Dorothy. I mean, look at the condition Mary is in, and she didn't use drugs. She's in the best shape of her life without drugs.
Mary Roberts. Last year, Mary Roberts placed 3rd in Miss Olympia. Frank, with this performance and that crowd, do you think she can better herself this year?
For sure, she's going to do better than she's done before. But just how well we'll have to wait and still see. We still have Corey Everson and Diana Dennis coming up.
We'll be back with more of the Miss Olympia competition right after this. There is a great deal of anticipation backstage because of what's about to happen center stage. The current Miss Olympia, Corey Everson, is ready to pose. Besides bodybuilding, she's quite an athlete.
I think that each sport that I've been in has contributed to my physique something over and above what only weight training can do. Running stadium stairs with weight vests and bounding and jumping, all that stuff. I mean, sure, you can do squats and you can do leg extensions and leg curls, but there's a certain quality to a muscle that can only be gotten through certain sports.
California's Corey Everson is electrifying the crowd. Frank, how much training must you do every week to look like this?
Corey trains about 30 hours a week. She does workouts that I've never heard of anybody doing before. For example, like 70 sets total in her leg workout. That means about 5 or 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. And that's just about twice as much training as most of the other competitors here today have done.
She had some surgery on her shoulder. Do you think that's held her back at all?
It doesn't appear to have held her back at all. Her shoulders look great to me. I did learn, however, that she is competing with a fractured foot.
She has so much confidence. I can't believe anything is bothering her today.
She certainly is in top form. This is about the best condition I've ever seen Corey in.
Well, Frank, I'm going to put you right on the spot. Can Corey win again?
Very definitely. She's got everything going for her. Good posing, excellent condition, audience loves her. Interesting move here. Bringing the audience into your routine always helps. Dorothy, I'm not sure it's a good idea to finish your routine that way.
Frank, in just a minute, we'll see how the judges feel. Our defending champ, Corey Everson. Just tell me right off the top of your head, do you think you've won it?
You never know. You can never think until you get that award.
You'll know soon.
Yeah.
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you.
And now a very sexy performance by Diana Dennis.
Dorothy, you've seen the musical Cats. Do some of her movements look familiar to you?
When Diana crawls on the ground, she does conjure up that graceful, sexy sexy feline image.
Well, she's worked with a choreographer from Cats, and she puts in a lot of time in her posing, so it's really showing through here. Diana would like to see bodybuilding on Broadway. She regards bodybuilding more as a performing art rather than a sport. This certainly shows in her routine.
But with all her dance moves, Frank, does she show off her body well enough to the judges?
Well, that's a good question. There is a point in a posing presentation where you get a little bit too choreographed. And I'm not sure whether she is too choreographed or not. We'll just have to see how the judges rate it. So showing some muscle there.
Frank, I've noticed all day today that you, a silent spectator, are sweating almost as much as the bodybuilders. Is this a sympathetic reaction?
I find myself posing along with them a lot of times. The fact that I'm not up there, I see them hitting a certain pose, and I unconsciously tense my muscles too to help bring them out more, if you will. Right now it's up to the judges. They're picking the top 6, and we'll be right back.
As they say, a moment of truth has arrived. The final round, the pose down. Here are the 6 women with a chance to be Miss Olympia. Diana Dennis, Corey Everson,
and thighs and neck.
Mary Roberts,
Thighs and abs, both hands overhead.
Tina Plackinger, Claire Furr, and Carla
Give
Dunlap.
us some pose down music, please.
Frank, I think this part of the competition is so interesting because the women are elbow to elbow. But does it count?
It does count, Dorothy, but the question is how much. The judges have more or less already made their decision. They've had 3 rounds to do this, and I think they used the pose down more or less to see if they made the right decision. Each woman naturally wants to draw as much attention as she can to herself in this pose down, so you'll see them moving around like Carla is right there.
Thank you very much, ladies.
And now it's all up to the judges while they do a final tally. We spoke earlier about the fact that the women here have been tested for steroids, and I spoke to the president of the IFBB about that. The drug testing, is it a one-time thing, or is this going to continue in women's bodybuilding?
It's not only going to continue in women's bodybuilding, but we're applying it for men's bodybuilding as well, effective next year at our men's championships, which will take place in Tokyo next November.
Why is it so important to you to say this is a clean sport?
Because bodybuilding is a very unique sport. We teach health. Exercise, fitness, and nutrition means health. And we are defeating the purpose of the entire concept of bodybuilding by allowing people to use drugs, steroids, and all the other drugs that they take. So by cleaning up the sport, we are getting back to our natural reasons for being involved in sport. Health, fitness, and clean living.
Interesting, Frank. What do you think about that?
Dorothy, I just hope that the results of the men's drug testing are as encouraging as what we've seen here today with the women.
And the award ceremonies are underway. Tina Plackinger has taken 6th place. 5th place went to Claire Furr. Former Miss Olympia Carla Dunlap took 4th place. And now it's time for the top 3.
Take the 3rd place award to Diana Dennis.
Bit of booing there, not a real popular decision with the audience.
Mary or Karina? Miss Olympia.
Second place, Mary Roberts.
There's nothing like winning Miss Olympia, the most prestigious title in women's bodybuilding, but being second isn't too bad either. then she'll have a good shot at the title again next year.
Frank, you did pick Corey as the winner, but were you surprised by anything?
I was a little surprised with her finishing 5th. She was 3rd after round 2, and I think she got knocked down because of her posing. But I'm really pleased with Corey Everson as the winner. She's a great champion. She was really on tonight.
Indeed she was. They are all so inspiring. It's enough to make me limit myself to maybe 1 candy bar a day and even join a gym. For Frank Zane, I'm Dorothy Lucy. So long from Madison Square Garden.
Presentation of NBC Sports, proud to be the network of the 1988 Summer Olympic Games.